Hey ambitious souls, welcome back to Christian Moon Business, and today we are talking about how to get booked for speaking engagements. And this is a really hot topic right now for me because I am actually on my way to Arizona to speak at a conference for moms, and it is a paid opportunity. And I thought, you know what, maybe I want to come on here and just let you guys know about how beneficial it is, number one, for your business, and then number two, how to get them, how to get those engagements. So I don't want to go into a whole lot of details about all of the many benefits. If you want to know specific benefits, be sure to check out my website, www.christianmoon.com, because I did make a blog article which pretty much goes over why it's beneficial for your business. But let me just give you guys a sneak peek into that. Number one, sales. For instance, I'm going to Arizona to speak at this conference. I'm pretty sure by the time I get home, I'm going to have sales for my journal that I have specifically for moms. So that's a great way to make money for your business and also actually getting paid to come down there and speak. Sorry, this box just fell. Oh my God. Anyway, it's a great opportunity to actually incorporate into your business because that's like another source of income by actually being able to share your expertise in your field and be able to get paid for it, make some extra money from it. But that's just two of the different things or reasons why. But visit my blog and you will see there's a ton of more reasons. But today, why we are here is because we are going to talk about how to get booked. Okay, so the first way to get booked is you're gonna have to do a little bit of stalking. So I'm talking about going to specific events or conferences, actual pages, and seeing who is the contact person or who is the person that's actually running the event and hitting them up. So a little bit of cold emailing, but I promise you it's not that scary as it seems, especially once you really get the hang of it and you're doing it so much, it's just like whatever. And sometimes you're gonna get a no, but okay, you just move on to the next conference or the next speaking event. It's fine. But you're gonna reach out to them with just something pretty short and to the point because nobody wants to read a long drawn out email about you and your company and why. Like this ain't no resume, just something super sweet, super short, get to the point. You're gonna reach out to them and tell them pretty much why you're a good fit and what you could bring to their event and why they should book you to speak. And if you do not want to go through the hassle of actually stalking and looking to see who the person is or trying to find out that information, I do have a product available on my website where I have about probably 50 conferences that are available that usually have speakers and at their events, and you can download that. I think it's $15, and I also share a few different tips and ways to pitch the organizer as well. So that's available on my website. But if you don't want to go that route, let me tell you about number two. Okay, so moving on to number two, make sure that you list that you are a speaker. So people should be able to know exactly who you are and what you do. So for instance, put in speaker in your Instagram bio. So if someone is on your page scrolling through and they feel like you may be interested or they may want to actually ask you to be a speaker, but they are not sure if you know how to speak or if you've done speaking before, a good way is to have speaker in your bio. So it's pretty clear cut and dry. Have that in your bio so they know, okay, she's a speaker, let me reach out to her. Or have it listed on your website. For instance, me, I've always had that option on my website. Hey, are you looking for a speaker? I can teach your group, blah, 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 blah. And I have my contact information where they can reach out to me directly and then we can kind of go from there. Okay, so you want to just make sure that it's known. Like nobody's gonna book you to speak if they don't know you speak. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna make sure that you do that. Also talk about it. So if you are a speaker or you do want to become a speaker, talk about it in your videos. So if you're uploading TikToks or Reels or any of that type of stuff, talk about maybe past events that you've spoken at. Maybe you have some footage from past events that you've spoken at. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like paid events. It could be like a speaking engagement that you spoke at for maybe a volunteer group or something like that. But you just have to put yourself out there as a speaker, if that makes sense. All right. So number 3 is going to be upload content of you speaking. And it does not have to be a formal engagement or a conference or actual speaking event. It can be something as simple as what I'm doing now. Like, so for instance, if someone did want to book me, they can easily go through my page and see exactly how I speak, what type of grammar I use, or what my slang is. Like, they can go directly to my videos and see if I'm actually a good fit. Or maybe on Instagram, you may have short videos. Like, I used to do IGTV videos, and I had a few different people reach out to me just off of that. And I did a lot of virtual conferences, like when we were in the pandemic, and I had never had a real speaking event at that time, but a lot of people were reaching out to me because I used to do the little IGTV videos where I would do like motivation or Thursday talk or just things like that. And at the same time, it also helped me to practice, because I naturally was not a very good fluent speaker, put it like that. Like, I'm still working on it, but I do my thing. So I used to use those opportunities to really practice, and then also it was a good way for other people to see how I speak. I also did a lot of podcast interviews, and those were great. So those were great practice because I wasn't necessarily in front of an audience, but at the same time, I was actually speaking on a platform. And then also, when I did do the podcast, a lot of people would be able to hear me speak either from listening to the podcast, or maybe I would repost parts of me actually talking, maybe onto my Instagram profile. And so people would kind of hear me speak that way as well. But you just have to maximize like all opportunities to speak, basically, and showcase that you can speak. So the next way is going to be to network. And first of all, before we even get into why it's important and how to do that, if you are an introvert, I know it can be challenging, because I feel like I kind of tread the line. It really depends. Like, I've really gotten out of like my introverted ways, and I don't know, I guess it just depends on who I'm comfortable around. So I can't say that I'm an introvert, but I have my introverted moments. And so if you are an introvert, then a really good book to help with that is Quiet by Susan Cain, I believe. That book is really good to help you like kind of step outside of your shell, to be able to, make connections and network and just pretty much get your point across. So I highly recommend that book. But now let's get into it. So networking is probably the main thing that really propelled my organization Ambitious with a Purpose. It really propelled my speaking career. I have gotten a lot of opportunities from networking. So it's like that saying that they say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's true, I'm telling you, because I have had so many people that I have made just genuine connections to, or just pretty much talk to them about what I do. And I have in turn had them come to me with so many great opportunities and so many different like podcasts that I've done. They've turned around and said, hey, we have a conference coming up and we want to invite you out to speak at this event, or a virtual conference, or whatever the case may be. For instance, the speaking event that I'm headed to in Phoenix, that one was a pitch. I pitched this organizer, and I asked her pretty much like to come on her podcast pretty much. And we were going to book her podcast, but then she ended up having a death in her family. So her husband passed away. So of course she had to grieve, and things just kind of like were at a standstill for a long time. But in the meantime, I made sure to check on her, and that was just not even thinking about getting anything out of it, just being like a real human being. I made sure to check on her and send positive vibes her way and all of that. So fast forward 2 years later, she ended up DMing me and said that she wanted me to speak at her conference. So she's pretty much now getting back into the hang of things and trying to have some type of normalcy. And she reached out to me and said she had this conference coming up and that she wanted to book me to speak there. So what I mean is to really make sure that you are putting yourself out there and that you are making genuine connections and that you are following up and just network, okay? That's what it is, network. All right, and number 5 is going to be, if you have to, take free events. And of course, we want to make money. I get it. Trust me. I get it. But at the same time, sometimes we need to take those free events to get to the paid events, you know, and what, like I mentioned before, it is number 1, practice for us. So for us to be able to get better at our craft, number 1. Number 2 is putting ourselves out there, showcasing our talent and what we can do. And then also we are putting our authority out there, so letting people know exactly what our expertise is in whatever it is that we're doing. If we have products to sell, it's a great benefit for our products. So there's like so many different reasons why you would take a free speaking event, especially in the beginning, if it makes sense. Of course, if it's like something crazy where they want you to fly out somewhere and you're having to shell out a lot of money up front, that would be, you know, kind of different. You just really have to weigh your options and see if it's a good opportunity, because you could do something like that and it's a great opportunity and it makes sense. So you have to really weigh out your options, but don't automatically discredit free events or volunteer events just because it's not a paid opportunity right now. And I think sometimes some people will do that and they will kind of like cut themselves out, because you got to think about it like this. So many times also when you speak at certain events, you meet more people. So say for instance, if I'm speaking at one event and there's another person there that is having a conference coming up, that may be a paid opportunity that I was able to secure based off of me taking the free opportunity. So keep that in mind and make sure that, you know, you don't just push, oh, it's free, just push it to the side or out the window. You know, we all have to crawl before we walk, you know, so make sure that you just keep that in mind, you know. Okay, so those are the ways of how to get booked for your speaking engagements. I hope that this was helpful. I will also be putting out my journey of my week before actually getting ready to speak, so you guys can see some pointers for when you do get booked, because I know you guys are going to get booked. So when you do get booked for your paid speaking events, you will see pretty much like what my process is when it comes to like preparing for it. So as for preparing for my speech, preparing to maybe if it's out of town, you know, packing up, getting ready to go, just pretty much what my process is and all of the different things that I'm doing to just make sure that everything is tight before your girl get on stage. So I hope this was helpful. Make sure that you guys subscribe, and then I will see you guys in the next video.